Hello, and welcome to Kyber Codex. Today I have another lightsaber review for you. Today's offering comes to us from TXQ. It is a Luke Skywalker Last Jedi lightsaber installed with a Proffieboard 2v2. So, just quick basic overview. Like I said, this is the Last Jedi version, not the Return of the Jedi version. So it does have the larger tri-ring on the pommel, the shorter idealized grenade section, the vented ring on the emitter, and the changed proportions of the emitter here. Otherwise, details are relatively in line with what we would see in Return of the Jedi. It's a little bit shinier than either of the screen-used props from Return of the Jedi or Last Jedi. But overall, visibly Luke's lightsaber. You may notice the blade plug does not match. This is an 89 Sabers Luke Hero blade plug. I got that separately from this, and just got that two put in here. The blade plug that was included with the hilt both is not accurate to Luke's Hero Saber and actually does not fit all the way in the emitter. The emitter is pretty shallow, and we can take a look and I can show you that. That's all the size that Hero emitter, Hero blade plug is. Here's the emitter depth that you've got. I don't know if you can even see that on the camera, but the blade plug doesn't even fit all the way. You have exposed blade stock there. I didn't feel like cutting it. It's not particularly accurate anyway. So I just put this 89 Sabers Hero plug in there. It does have a weathered, I want to say copper. This looks like weathered copper for the neck. Nice black anodizing on the grenade section and the bottom of the wind vane section here. Does have a nice looking clamp card. It does have the red and green arrows. There's white LEDs behind them, but these are red and green windows, so they light up red and green when you use it. And it's in a 2-button setup on this rocker switch here on the control box. Really the only downside I found of the control box is the arrows are not wired up to the Proffieboard for data, just power, so they're on when the blade's on, off when the blade's off. And two, the white LED in there is so bright that it shines through the clamp card. So I can't really get it out without ruining the electrical tape, but I stuck a strip of electrical tape cut to size on the back of the clamp card so the LEDs no longer shine through it when I have it turned on. And there's a removable chassis in here if you unscrew the pommel. It's the same as most other TXQ removable chassis. This one does not have a recharge port at all, unlike my other TXQ hilts. And like all TXQ hilts that I've had or used or seen, it does not have a kill switch. So you do have to pop the battery out for storage, or just when you're not using it. Otherwise, you got your 24mm speaker, your Proffieboard, your battery protection board, and your pin connectors for the chassis, which just connect right inside the hilt, if you can see in there. The chassis connector is stepped, so it only goes in one way. If you try to put it in with the board facing away from the control box, it will not actually go in. So you just pop it in there. These arrows on the chassis should be facing upwards and pointing at your control box. Battery should be facing down. And then you just screw your pommel back on. Trying to remember to keep the tri-ring like this, as if it was hanging on your belt while you're doing that. Because I don't know if this is chrome plating or polished aluminum, but whichever it is, scratch is really easy. I got that the day I got this hilt. Going to unscrew the pommel, not even realizing it. But, you know, other than that, the tri-ring's pretty sturdy. It doesn't flop around at all. So it holds really nicely on your belt, which I always appreciate. I do find that the threading here gets a little loose if you're really swinging this around, which can be unfortunate. I always worry that it's going to unthread too much and tear some wires from the chassis connector. But I've had this for 6 or 7 months now, I think, and that hasn't happened yet. The rocker switch on here is nice. It's really easy to reach with either hand when you're using the Saber. It does stick sometimes, but once you get a feel for it, you really get around that, so I wouldn't call it a con, it's just more of a learning curve. Like I already mentioned, I really like this weathered copper, and I think this is a really nice looking clamp card. And some people are not a fan of the elongated emitter design from Last Jedi, or with TXQ's choice to extend this vented ring on the emitter. Since it's a Last Jedi replica, not liking the extended emitter, I don't really know what to tell you there. That's how it is in Last Jedi. But yeah, the extended ring, not my most favorite aesthetic choice for this hilt, but it helps a lot with blade stability. It's probably the most stable thin neck in my collection right now. But we'll see how it holds up to the Return of the Jedi hero that I have coming soon. When I do a demo video for that, I will follow that up with a comparison video between that and this, and hopefully my Luke V2, if that is back from getting a custom chassis made. But in the meantime, let's take a deeper look at the Saber. We'll pop a battery in here, pop a blade in here, and see how things look.
Greetings, Exalted One. dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities. Some
Rocker switch getting stuck.
unnatural.
It's a good sounding font, too. Final verdict on the Saber. It's good. It is not my favorite Luke hilt, but it's not the worst Luke hilt that it could be either. I personally am not a huge fan of chrome like this. Like, the mirror chrome look is really not for me. I need to wipe this down after doing this video. There's a lot of fingerprints on it. I wish that these were lower power red and green LEDs. Theoretically, you could get in here and maybe wire a resistor somewhere in here. Or I've heard some people put like Teflon tape or polystyrene in there between the LED and these lenses. But the LEDs in there are definitely too bright. They're a little blinding if you look at the control box, and unless you put some electrical tape right on the back of the clamp card, it shines right through there and can kind of be blinding through the clamp card. Aside from that, though, pretty decent attention to detail. They correctly clocked that The Last Jedi has a shortened grenade section and an elongated booster section. The tri-ring's a little big, but they did have it clocked at 9 o'clock from the control box, which is accurate to Last Jedi, where Return of the Jedi should be like 11 o'clock noon area, depending, it varies shot to shot. The extended emitter, like I said, is good and bad. It's super stable. It holds a blade really, really well for a thin neck. Especially having these two vertically aligned retention screws, the one on the vented ring and the one in the actual emitter cup. And then I just ignore the other two on the ring. This one is for your Pixel PCB, not your blade or your blade plug, so don't take that out. It's got good sound venting. It's not the most discreet venting in the world, but this plate does unscrew, so theoretically you could cut a static pommel cap and thread it yourself if you had the tools to do that. But otherwise, it's a good weight. It's a good size. It, it feels like how Luke's lightsaber should feel. It's not the most visually accurate, but it's not the worst either. I don't know, I'm very torn on this. It's clearly a hilt that was made with a lot of care. It's a high quality install. It feels good in the hand. They clearly paid enough attention to detail to get things like the top ring being thicker even though the rest are idealized and even. the orientation of the red and green arrows, the 2-button rocker switch, the black color of the control card or control box PCB, the clocking of the D-ring. So they did pay enough attention to make a reasonably faithful attempt at an affordable copy of Luke's Saber. And I think that this is available at a good price. It feels good in hand. I'd say I'd give it like a solid 8. You know, I use it quite a bit still. I really think the only reason that I'm torn on it is this ring. I really don't like the way this looks. I wish that was gone and we just had the Return of the Jedi emitter. But that's a matter of personal taste, not a matter of function, not a matter of quality. Quality-wise and function-wise, this is a great hilt. And for the price it's available at, I really don't think you can go wrong with it if you're in the market for a Luke Hero Saber and you don't want to shell out for something with a really, really high degree of screen accuracy. You know, there's only a couple of places I can think of that are doing a Luke Hero based on Last Jedi. You can get Dennis Lukanov's Creepy Uncle when there is a run in production of that. There's, what is it? The Balance from Roman Props, I think, is the Last Jedi one, right? And then, I don't know, does Saberforge make one maybe? So other than that, I mean, I think this is really your only option for a Last Jedi Luke Hero, unless you're gonna kit bash one and install it yourself. So, for what these run ya, I really don't think this is that bad of a hilt. I really think that I'm just fighting a bias because I subjectively don't really like extending the vented ring. I wish that was still flush with the emitter. But I can live with that. Because otherwise, this is fun to swing around. It feels really good in the hand. And it holds a blade really well, so I don't have to worry about any wobble or loose blade or loose connection for this being a thin neck. And I know that that can be a concern for other hilts. So all in all, yeah, I'd say I'd probably give this like an 8 out of 10 if I had to rate it and give it a number. I would buy it again if I had to. So, once again, this has been Kyber Codex. Thank you all for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.